You have an upcoming project management, Scrum Master, or even a BA interview, and you're thinking, what can I do to prepare myself for this upcoming interview? On today's video, my goal is to cover list of little housekeeping you can do prior to you going to your scheduled face-to-face interview. And in this list, it's not only going to be covering for a remote interview you might have screening for, but also if you have to go on site, what are things you can do prior to you going to your interview? Welcome back to Aisha Scrum. I'm very happy to have you all back to my channel. Existing subscriber and my new subscriber, I welcome you all to my channel. So let's get into the video. Behind me here, I have list of things that we can do to hopefully prepare you for your upcoming interview. I know we are all happy and excited, like yes, I've been applying. So my goal today is for us to basically prepare you all for things you can do beyond just watching the videos on interview question and answer. What you can do can actually get you prepared for your interview. So the first thing I have in my top of my list is learn your resume and update your resume. And I know I've had like a lot of previous videos in the past where I was saying like anti-pattern Scrum Masters do prior to going to interview. And I know like one of the mistakes listed there was when you do not review your resume. But it's very important for you to know that even though you've created your resume, or maybe you paid a professional that actually help you crafted your resume, it's very, very important for you to always go through each of your job description in your resume and ensure you are 100% familiar, you familiar yourself with what's in your resume. So in case you are asked a question, you're able to answer. Because I've seen multiple times where this have happened, whereby I'm interviewing people and I'm asking them, oh, I see in your resume you stated that you're able to increase a team velocity by so and so percentage. How did you do that? So most of the questions I've always asked people in interview have always come from the resume itself. So it's very important for you to familiar yourself with that. And let's say you also applied for a job like 3 months ago, and now you got called for interview. And then you notice that the interviewer had your old resume from 3 months ago. Don't be afraid to let them know that, oh, by the way, that was 3 months ago resume you have in hand, and let me give you a sample of my new resume. So that's why at all time, if you're going on site or you're on remote, do not hesitate to let them know if that particular resume they have is like an old resume. So familiarizing yourself with your resume is extremely important. Because I know sometimes like, oh yes, I have this experience. I've been working for the past 10 years. So I know everything off head. Yes, we do. But it's very important for you to go over it and have key notes of things that happen in different of those companies you've worked for. So that's my key number 1 point. And the next thing I have on my board is learn about the company. So sometimes I see like people like are preparing for interview. They are so heavily focused on practicing Scrum Master interview question and answer. Yes, that's still fine. You still always can practice that. But it's also very, very important for you to take extra minutes or time to go to the company's website and learn about the company. Look at their vision. You look at their mission. Look at the recent achievements the company had, or what is like one thing you've seen online or reviews that still like stand out to you. So when you're giving your elevator pitch, you can able to even include that in your elevator pitch. So they'll be like, you actually did your homework. And recently, one of my mentees went to an interview and they called me after the interview. They were like, Aisha, let me just tell you what happened. I was like, oh, what happened? And she was telling me like, oh, do you know the first question I was asked in my interview was, what did I learn about your company? And why did I apply? What is one thing I learned about the company that I feel the need to apply for this position, and to the point that I'm given this opportunity to be interviewed, what did I learn about the company? Imagine you going to an interview and you're asked, what did you learn about the company? And you become blank. So it's very important for you to research the company, learn about the company, mission, goal, like anything that's so new that they've won, or milestones or achievements. Company is very good nowadays of posting everything on social media, anything that's been so good that's been happening with them. And also you can even go as far as even research when did they adopt Agile and how has Agile been for the company. So it's very important to do your research about the company before going to the interview. So the next thing I have in my board is learn the job description. I know it sounds so simple. You're like, okay, Aisha, I know the job description is there, but it's very important for you to know that sometimes some of the questions you might get in interview come directly from the job description. Because sometimes you might be asked a simple question as, oh, how do you facilitate your Scrum events? Because we know like for almost all Scrum jobs, right, they'll have that in the part of the job description. But sometimes some companies that are, for example, practicing safe, they may have a specific need that they're looking for. Maybe like they'll need someone that's very good in tracking dependency, on following up with impediments. They'll list all of those things. And if you've been a Scrum Master, you've been practicing that, you should have scenario for all of those bullet points that they are describing in the job description. So going over the job description alone can help you prep for your interview and know what kind of environment you expect, if this environment they're practicing less, or if it's a safe environment, or it's just an environment that's just doing OKRs, right? So it's very important to look at the job description and get yourself familiarized with the job description. So when you do go to the interview, in case they ask some of those questions, it can come directly from the job description. Because remember, when companies are putting this listening out there for Scrum Masters, they're basically putting out some of the problems they are having at work, or some of the things that they are looking for in the Scrum Master. Some company could go on as making it very, very specific as saying required job skills, and at the bottom they will put preferred, and in the preferred it can even be more detailed. So it's very important for you to go over everything in the job description prior to you going to your interview, so that you can be very well prepared for your interview. By the way, if you've been finding my content valuable, do not hesitate to like and subscribe to my channel. And if you are interested in mentorship, do not hesitate to email me at admin@aishascrumtech.com. So the next thing I have in my video is practicing interview question. Yes, it's very important not to only watch YouTube videos about interview question and answer, but it's also very important for you to practice it. And you can practice it in front of your family members, in front of like friends, in front of your mirror. Like if you're on your own, you can also practice in front of a mirror, whereby you practice your elevator pitch, you practice commonly asked questions like, tell me about sprints, how you run your sprints, tell me about metrics, like how you track the progress of your team, tell me how you get your team to be collaborative, like retrospective, all those commonly asked Scrum Master interview question and answer. You can practice all of that in front of an audience, or you can even in front of your iPhone. You can even video yourself practicing these questions. Because to be honest, sometimes you might think in your head, oh yes, I know this, I know that, I have an answer to this, I have an answer to that. But if you actually put on your camera and film yourself practicing your question, and you go back and replay yourself practicing yourself, you yourself will start correcting yourself, because we all know we humans, we are like our biggest critic, right? We critique ourselves more than anybody else, even more than your mentor can ever critique you. So by you even taking your phone and film yourself practicing, you can go back and play and review. Like, oh, I'm not so good in answering questions with sprints. Oh, I'm having difficulty coming up with a scenario with how I got my team to collaborate. Oh, I should do more research on that. Just by you critiquing yourself with that video. And of course, too, if you have your mentor too, your mentor will definitely connect with you and support and help you through that. So it's very important to practice, not only read, not only watch video, not only listen, but also practice, because practice makes perfect, right? All right, so the next thing I have in my video is have example using the STAR approach, right? Which is the situation, task, action, and results. So using the STAR approach, I know I have a lot of videos on my YouTube on interview question and answer. Using the STAR approach, usually the last one I did with the PO interview, so a lot of scenarios on that using that STAR approach. So it's very important. You hardly go to an interview where you not be asked to give an example of situation that happened in your past. And sometimes too at work, when you are dealing with that situation, you might not be thinking, oh, all the steps that you have done to actually solve this problem, right? But going to an interview and speak on it is like a whole different scenario. So that's why it's very important going back to what I'm saying about practicing, right? And also by you using the STAR approach, because companies not only want to hear the problem, they also would like to hear the action you took from that problem, and what was the result based on the action you took. So it's very, very important for you to use that STAR technique to have one or two or three example on that. And if you need more example, do not hesitate to go to my Scrum interview playlist. I have like tons of examples on what you can use and even practice on your own, so how you can turn that into your own scenario when you go to your interview. So the next thing I have in my board is wear professional attire. So a lot of time mistakes I'm seeing, like when we had an interview one time at work, basically we had people come to an interview with a polo shirt, right? It's nice, and we all know the tech industry is very laid back and relaxed. But when you go into an interview, it's very important to dress professionally, right? Like what I'm wearing right now, it's like very casual, very simple, right? But when I'm going to an interview, I'll add like maybe like my little vest on this, whereby I'll have my little vest and look more professional, so that they'll know that I come prepared and I'm taking my extra time to prep for this interview, and I have what it takes to do this particular job. And it's true, I know they're like, oh yeah, I just recently saw online that there was this place, they were doing these interviews where they would have people wear masks, basically cover their whole face and body to go to this interview, just to ensure that the interviewers are not going to be biased in picking the right candidate. But yes, that's happening in some countries, but we're not there yet in the United States. It's still very, very important for us to dress professionally and look professional when we go to our interview, regardless if it's a Zoom call, Microsoft Team call, or if you are going on site, right? Regardless if you're doing it at home or you're doing it in office, you still have to dress professional and look professional and come prepared. Very, very important. So don't just wear your polo t-shirts and just go to interview, right? So dress professional and look professional. So that's that. The next one I have is, if you're going on site, right? Let's say for example, you have an interview where you have to go to the office for your interview. So before you go to the office, you have to first research the location, right? Use Google Drive and look at the distance from your home to your interview site. It's very important you do this ahead of time and not wait till the day of the interview and start searching, oh, how far is this from my home? We have to do this at least 2 to 3 days ahead. So we're also accounting for traffic, for if you have it in the morning and all, you're looking for all of that, so that you get to your interview location in time, at least 15 minutes early. Very important if you are going on site. And if you're going to be on remote, basically what I mean remote, meaning you're doing your interview at home or you're doing it in a library or any location, you should ensure you have internet access, number one, right? You try that logging in at least 30 or 15 minutes early, whereby you're ensuring that your internet is working, your computer is working, your audio is working, you have like no technical difficulties ahead of time. You're not going to wait till 5 minutes before the interview starts and right away you want to go in and do your interview. So it's very important for you to log in at least 15 minutes ahead before your scheduled interview time. That shows professionalism, and that shows that if you can be on time in your interview, there's no way you won't be on time during your working hours. And guess what? If you are late in your interview, there's a 90% chance too when you are given that opportunity, you always will be late at work too. So employer, look for all of this. So it's very important for you to be on time. So the next thing I have here is notify your reference, which is very important, because I know you'll be like, oh Aisha, did I even get the job? Yeah. Yes, it's very important for you to still notify your reference, because you never know, in case that you might be asked reference at work or during the end of the interview, they might ask you like, oh, do you have any 2 reference you can give me, or from your past employer or your current employer? Do you have any reference? So it's always good to have at least 2 at top of your head, like, oh yeah, I have so and so person and I have this email and this is their telephone number. It's very good to prepare this reference ahead of time, like, oh, by the way, I'm interviewing currently for a new position. Do you mind if I use it for reference? And I would like to use you as a reference. So then if they do call them, they are already aware that they will be expecting your call. Very important to have at least 2 references prepared before you even go to your interview. And the last thing I have in my board is, do not forget to smile. It's very important, right? Because you don't want to go to interview whereby, I know sometimes we can be so nervous and we're like so scared, where you feel like you have to have your poker face on, like, and they'll be talking to you like you just like have your straight face on, where it's very important for you to smile like hello everyone, or then you go and say hello everyone, hello you all. I don't think you will even watch my video if I talk like that, right? Don't be afraid to do mini icebreaker like, oh, what a beautiful day today is. Oh, it's so nice today. Oh, it's actually snowing. Oh, we had a snow yesterday. Like, you even talk about the weather or the weekend. Like, little icebreaker like that just to kickstart it. Oh, how was your weekend? Oh, it's a Monday. Happy Monday. Oh, it's so nice. I'm talking to you the first thing this morning. How beautiful for me to start my day. Oh, it's really nice. It's on a Friday. Oh, I'm so glad you're my last person I'm talking for the day before the day end. You know, little icebreakers like that can help crack your nervousness and also get this interviewers to also relax and also remind you to smile, right? Because sometimes that can crack them up so people start laughing and smiling just to relax the atmosphere. As much as you think they are going there to test you, just so you are also doing the same. You're also missing my last video. Do not hesitate to go to my playlist and watch Scrum Master interview, question and answer, and that can help prepare you. And if you're interested in mentorship, do not hesitate to email me at admin@aishascrumtech.com. And thank you all for watching my channel, and see you all again next time.